Imagine carrying a heavy stone within yourself. It's invisible, but you feel its weight in moments of doubt, in postponed decisions, and in dreams that always seem out of reach. This stone represents everything you avoid, fear, or don't understand, and no matter how much you wish to free yourself from it, you don't know where to begin. If this feeling resonates with you and you want to explore ways to transform these burdens into purpose and clarity, I invite you to discover my ebook Alchemy and Archetypes, Exploring Inner Transformation Through Jungian Psychology. It offers insights and practices that can support you on this journey. The link to access it is in the first comment. Carl Jung, one of the greatest explorers of the human soul, showed us that this stone is, in fact, raw material. It holds incredible potential. The transformation of lead, which symbolizes our fears and limitations, into gold, the realization of who we are and the fulfillment of our purpose. Within each of us lies an alchemist, conscious or not, working tirelessly to achieve this transmutation. Every time we face a challenge or encounter an intense emotion, we are in the laboratory of life. Doubts, difficulties, and even the small coincidences that intrigue us are all part of this transformative process. Ancient alchemists spoke of furnaces and secret formulas, but true alchemy happens in our minds and hearts, in the way we deal with our inner and outer world. Jung interpreted the symbols of alchemy as a map for the human journey. Transforming lead into gold means confronting the deepest and most unconscious parts of ourselves, integrating light and shadow, accepting our flaws and potential, and finding balance. This journey isn't easy, but it is essential for anyone seeking meaning and growth. This video is an invitation to see your life as an alchemical masterpiece. Together, we'll explore how, without realizing it, you are already conducting your great work. Step by step, we'll understand how to turn obstacles into learning opportunities and doubts into clarity. Because the alchemist you are searching for is already within you, waiting to awaken. Imagine carrying an invisible weight. It manifests in insecurities, paralyzing fears, repetitive thoughts, and even that nagging feeling that you're living below your potential. In the language of alchemy, this weight is the lead, that which keeps us tied to the densest and most limiting parts of ourselves. Carl Jung discovered that ancient alchemy, with its metaphors of metals and magical formulas, actually described the inner transformation process we all face. Turning lead into gold is not about precious metals but about bringing the hidden into consciousness, integrating our weaknesses, traumas, and blockages into our personality in a constructive way. The lead we carry can take many forms. The anger we repress, the fear of failure, the resentment we try to ignore. These parts, which Jung called the shadow, don't disappear just because we hide them. They continue to influence our choices, often silently. Psychological alchemy begins when we decide to face these parts and use them as raw material for growth. Think of a challenge you recently faced. Maybe a difficult conversation, an important decision, or even a moment of frustration with yourself. Now imagine that, instead of avoiding this discomfort, you approached it like an alchemist would approach their lead, with curiosity and determination to uncover what it could reveal. This is the fire of transformation, the force that purifies and brings forth the gold that was hidden. Psychological alchemy is a continuous process that doesn't demand perfection. It's about accepting who we are in our entirety, light and shadow, mistakes and successes. Just as lead holds gold, our difficulties conceal the strengths that can take us further. Every intense emotion, every obstacle, and every reflection is part of this transformation. Becoming aware of this process is what allows us to turn heaviness into lightness, doubt into clarity, and fear into action. You've already started. Every step, no matter how small, is part of this work. The gold is there, waiting to be revealed. Imagine being in a dark room, unaware of what's around you. The darkness is frightening, but it also carries an invitation to turn on the light and see what has been hidden. This is the first stage of psychological alchemy, known as nigredo. It's the moment when we confront our shadow, those parts of ourselves we avoid but that silently shape our choices and behaviors. The shadow, according to Carl Jung, isn't just a repository of flaws and weaknesses. It holds repressed desires, forgotten talents, and the vital energy we ignore out of fear or shame. Facing the shadow is like opening a box we've avoided for years, filled with memories but also with precious tools for our growth. The nigredo is uncomfortable because it requires courage to recognize our limitations. It's the moment when old patterns begin to unravel, and everything feels confusing. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a cycle of frustration, reacting the same way in situations that bother you? These moments mark the start of nigredo. They show where your shadow is acting, asking to be acknowledged. For example, someone who always avoids conflict might realize that this behavior hides a fear of rejection or a deep desire to be accepted. Recognizing this can be painful, but it's liberating. It's in this discomfort that true alchemical work begins. The ancient alchemists said it was necessary to burn the old to create the new. In psychology, this means making room for the unknown. What happens when you accept that failure is part of life? Or when you see fear as a teacher rather than an enemy? These questions lead us to transform the darkness of the shadow into a solid foundation for real change. In the nigredo, the lead begins to heat up. The warmth of honesty with oneself initiates the purification needed for the next stage. It's a stage of creative chaos, where the old dissolves and something new begins to emerge. Passing through the nigredo requires courage, but also tools to help navigate discomfort and find clarity. If you want to delve deeper into this process, my ebook Alchemy and Archetypes, Exploring Inner Transformation Through Jungian Psychology offers insights and practical exercises to guide you. The link is in the first comment. After the darkness of nigredo, where we confront our shadows, comes the albedo, the second stage of psychological alchemy. This is the phase of purification, where we begin to clear internal confusion and see beyond the patterns that once held us captive. In albedo, emotions that once felt murky start to organize themselves. It's like wiping a fogged-up glass to finally see the landscape beyond with clarity. This process doesn't happen all at once but unfolds in small, often silent steps, where we start questioning the beliefs we've held and reevaluating what truly matters. Imagine someone who has always believed that showing weakness is wrong. During nigredo, they realize they suppress their emotions to maintain a facade of strength. In albedo, they take the next step, allowing themselves to feel, to cry, to ask for help. This purification isn't weakness, it's a release that brings lightness. Albedo is also a moment of rediscovery. Jung reminds us that within what we reject lie hidden treasures. These might include a dormant talent, a genuine emotion we've ignored, or even the courage to express who we truly are. Purification, therefore, isn't about erasing who we are but revealing our essence by cleansing away what doesn't belong to us. Practices such as meditation, reflective writing, or simply moments of silence can help strengthen this stage. They act as water in alchemy, washing away impurities and allowing the gold to begin revealing itself. In life, albedo can often be recognized in moments when we feel clarity after an emotional storm. It's that instant when, after much questioning, an answer arises naturally. Not because anything external has changed, but because we are internally cleaner, lighter, and more connected to what truly matters. After the purification of albedo comes citrinitas, the phase where light begins to shine. This is the stage of illumination, where chaos has been understood, and clarity creates space for the construction of something new. Here, we start aligning with our most authentic essence, letting it guide our choices and actions. In Citronitas, it feels like dawn breaking after a long night. You begin to realize that the challenges you've faced so far had a greater purpose: to reveal who you truly are. At this stage, ideas take form, and the meaning you've been searching for starts to emerge naturally. Think about a moment when you experienced an inner click. Perhaps it was an important decision, like changing careers or ending a relationship, which once seemed impossible but suddenly became clear. That's Citronitas. The realization that you're creating a new reality based on a deep understanding of who you are and what you want. This stage is also characterized by acceptance. Unlike the purification of albedo, where we seek to free ourselves from emotional burdens, Citronitas teaches us to work with what we have. It's the phase where we recognize our talents, values, and dreams as valuable tools for building a life aligned with our purpose. Jung associated this stage with the expansion of consciousness. He believed that by integrating repressed parts and understanding our emotions, we become more whole and connected to the world around us. In Citronitas, this connection begins to manifest in concrete actions. Projects that make sense, more genuine relationships, and a sense of being in the right place, doing what truly matters. Practices like visualization, writing about your goals, or simply walking in nature can help strengthen this phase. These moments of pause allow you to see clearly the path that is forming. Citronitas reminds us that purpose isn't something we find outside ourselves. It's revealed when we allow ourselves to live in alignment with who we are inside. And once that light is kindled, it guides us in every step forward. We now arrive at the pinnacle of transformation, Rubedo. In alchemy, this is the stage where gold is finally revealed. Psychologically, it's the moment when we unite light and shadow, embrace all parts of who we are, and live fully aligned with our essence. Rubedo isn't about achieving perfection but wholeness. It's about recognizing that we are made of opposites: strength and vulnerability, reason and emotion, certainty and doubt, and that each of these aspects plays a vital role in our existence. When we integrate these opposites, we find balance and authenticity. Imagine a scale that once swung wildly between extremes: suppressed rage or explosive anger, paralyzing fear or impulsivity. In Rubedo, the scale finds stability, not because conflicts disappear, but because we learn to welcome them and respond to them consciously. Jung described this stage as the encounter with the self, the deepest and truest essence of each person. At this stage, we stop seeking external validation because we find within ourselves what once seemed to exist outside: meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Rubedo can be felt in moments when you experience peace, even amidst chaos. When you accept your flaws without feeling defeated or celebrate your achievements without losing humility. It's the stage where life, with all its highs and lows, ceases to be something to control and becomes something to live fully. In practice, this union of opposites is reflected in our daily choices. For instance, someone who learns to approach conflict with both empathy and firmness instead of avoiding it, or someone who, after years of dedicating themselves solely to work, decides to also cultivate moments of leisure and personal connection. The gold of Rubedo lies in living with balance, without denying any part of oneself. The ancient alchemists called this stage the opus magnum, the great work completed. But, just as gold does not deteriorate with time, this state of wholeness is not an end. It is a new beginning. Each day presents new opportunities to continue refining this gold, living with greater awareness, freedom, and authenticity. To be whole doesn't mean having no challenges. It means facing them knowing you are stronger than you thought and that all the answers you seek are already within you. The ancient alchemists believed that all transformation involved the interaction of four essential elements: earth, water, air, and fire. More than forces of nature, These elements symbolize profound aspects of the human psyche and serve as a guide for understanding our emotions, thoughts, and actions in the process of inner transformation. Earth represents our foundation, what gives us stability and structure. It is the ground upon which we build our values, beliefs, and emotional security. However, when we become too rigid, clinging to old habits or resisting change, Earth can become a weight that hinders growth. Finding balance with this element means having a solid foundation, yet one flexible enough to support transformation. Water is the element of emotions and intuition. Like a flowing river, it invites us to dive into our emotional experiences and learn to navigate our inner current. When connected to water, we can adapt and feel deeply. Yet, neglecting this element can lead to drowning in uncontrolled emotions or becoming dry and disconnected. Purifying this aspect involves accepting our feelings as they are, neither resisting them nor being consumed by them. Air symbolizes the lightness of thought, the mental clarity that allows us to reflect and communicate. It helps us observe our ideas with detachment and objectivity, fostering understanding and discernment. When balanced, air brings calm and perspective, but in excess, it can trap us in endless worries and overanalysis. Mastering air means finding the space between thought and action, cultivating a state of presence. Fire, finally, represents the energy of transformation, the passion that drives us to act and change. It is the spark that lights the way and gives us the courage to face challenges. However, fire can also consume us, leading to burnout, or extinguish, leaving us apathetic. Harmonizing fire involves channeling our energy creatively and consciously, allowing it to warm without burning. These four elements do not exist in isolation. They intertwine in all human experiences. Imagine, for example, a significant change in your life. Earth helps you remain grounded amid instability. Water allows you to feel and intuit what is happening. Air provides clarity to analyze your options. Fire fuels the energy to act. True alchemy occurs when we recognize and balance these aspects within ourselves. By honoring stability, emotions, thoughts, and action in our lives, we create fertile ground for authentic transformation. Together, these elements connect us to our deepest potential, showing us that inner harmony is the foundation for the gold of fulfillment. The ancient alchemists spent countless hours in their laboratories, surrounded by mysterious substances, furnaces, and retorts, seeking to transform lead into gold. But Carl Jung teaches us that the real laboratory isn't made of walls and instruments. It is life itself, with its challenges, relationships, and moments of introspection. Every experience we have, whether small or monumental, holds the potential for transformation. A conflict at work, a difficult conversation with a friend, or even a moment of silence and solitude are like raw materials waiting to be worked on. These events, which we often see as obstacles, are actually opportunities. They offer the raw material for us to grow, mature, and discover new parts of ourselves. Think of a time when you were tested. Perhaps you felt anger, fear, or frustration. In those moments, it's easy to react impulsively or try to escape the situation. But when we choose to approach these emotions as part of a greater process, we become alchemists. Anger may reveal boundaries that need to be set. Fear may indicate we're facing something new and significant. Frustration may push us to change what no longer serves us. The laboratory of life, therefore, is a dynamic and ever-changing space. Just as the alchemist adjusted the fire to purify metals, we adjust our reactions to the events of everyday life. It's in the heat of these moments that the densest parts of our psyche begin to transform. Jung believed that every encounter, every choice, and even the mistakes we make are essential to the process of individuation, the journey of becoming who we truly are. Life, with all its unpredictability, is the great teacher. It challenges us to let go of old formulas and trust in our ability to create something new from chaos. When we view life as a laboratory, there are no failures, only experiments. Each attempt, even if it doesn't yield the expected result, brings us closer to understanding and growth. When we embrace this perspective, difficult moments stop being mere pain and become catalysts for the creation of inner gold. Your laboratory is operating right now. The tools are within your reach. Your emotions, reflections, and choices. The question is, what are you creating today? The ancient alchemists believed that the most important formulas were hidden in symbols and riddles. Jung, through his study of these texts, realized that dreams operate in much the same way. They are encoded messages from the unconscious, revealing parts of ourselves that we have yet to fully understand. In dreams, we find clues to the inner gold we seek in waking life. Have you ever had a dream that left you puzzled? Perhaps a scene that seemed absurd but carried a sense of significance? Jung believed that dreams are never random. They are fragments of our psyche quietly working to restore balance where there is disharmony. Just as alchemists used symbols to represent the transformation process, our dreams use images, figures, and scenarios to reveal what is hidden. For example, dreaming of water might symbolize repressed emotions or the need for fluidity in a situation. Feeling lost in a dream could reflect confusion or an unconscious desire to explore new paths. Unknown figures, such as strangers or animals, often represent parts of ourselves we have not yet integrated. Dreams also connect us directly to our shadow, bringing to light what we prefer to ignore. A nightmare, for instance, frequently forces us to confront fears or conflicts we avoid during the day. While unsettling, such dreams act as an alchemical fire, purifying what needs transformation. Jung described dream interpretation as akin to deciphering a map. There are no ready-made answers. Every symbol holds a unique meaning for the dreamer. He suggested simple methods, like keeping a dream journal to capture images and emotions upon waking. Revisiting these entries helps uncover patterns and understand what our psyche is trying to communicate. Dreams show us that the unconscious is not an enemy but an ally. By paying attention to this symbolic language, we can uncover hidden aspects of our psyche, access inner resources, and find clarity for the challenges of waking life. Just as the alchemist had to decipher riddles to complete the great work, we are invited to explore the language of dreams to reveal the gold within. What messages is your unconscious trying to share with you today? The ancient alchemists knew that the work of transformation began with one essential act: looking at themselves. The mirror, a symbol of reflection, is a powerful tool in both alchemy and life. It invites us to face who we truly are, without filters or masks, and to discover what lies hidden beneath the surface. In psychology, this process of self-reflection is fundamental to self-awareness. Carl Jung reminds us that we can only transform what we recognize. Just as an alchemist polished their mirror to see clearly, we are called to refine our inner perception by confronting our shadows and embracing our light. Reflecting on ourselves can be challenging. Often, we avoid looking inward because we fear what we might find. We might see flaws, regrets, or even parts of ourselves we deem unworthy. Yet, the mirror also reveals forgotten strengths, hidden talents, and the potential to become whole. It reminds us that true transformation begins with acceptance. Think of a moment when you were confronted by your emotions, perhaps during a conflict or a difficult choice. These moments are invitations to use the mirror of self-awareness. What truly motivated your actions? What beliefs guided your decisions? These questions are not meant to judge but to understand. In daily life, simple practices like journaling, meditating, or seeking honest feedback from those you trust can help refine your perception. Each act of reflection is like polishing the mirror, allowing you to see your essence more clearly. The Alchemist's mirror teaches us that there is no escaping who we are. The more we connect with our truth, the stronger we become, and as we face our reflection with courage, we find not just answers but the freedom to live authentically. What is your mirror trying to show you today? In alchemy, the philosopher's stone was the ultimate goal, the magical substance capable of turning base metals into gold and granting eternal life. Carl Jung reinterpreted this symbol as a metaphor for individuation, the encounter with the self, the most authentic core of who we are, where light and shadow are integrated into wholeness. Finding the philosopher's stone doesn't mean achieving perfection. It means accepting and embracing every part of yourself. It's understanding that our flaws, fears, and conflicts are just as essential as our virtues and successes. This integration frees us from the ego's constraints and connects us to a broader, more meaningful perspective on life. Jung believed that the search for the philosopher's stone was, in truth, a journey to becoming whole. It's like traversing a labyrinth, facing challenges, revisiting mistakes, and, at the center, discovering a simple yet transformative truth: we are what we've been seeking all along. The philosopher's stone is, at its essence, the symbolic gold born from the acceptance and full awareness of oneself. In practice, encountering the self can be felt in moments of profound clarity or inner peace. For instance, when you make an important decision without being dominated by fear or doubt, or when a painful conflict reveals an essential lesson about who you are and what truly matters. This state is not permanent, but it serves as a reference point we can revisit throughout life. Each time we face our shadows, each time we choose authenticity over external approval, we come closer to this integration. The philosopher's stone is not something we find outside ourselves. It is an internal construction born of courage, self-awareness, and compassion for who we are. Jung once said, "We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This is the work of psychological alchemy, transforming the densest and most repressed aspects of our psyche into the gold of who we are in our wholeness. The transformation you seek is already happening within you. Every challenge, emotion, and choice is an opportunity to discover your essence and reveal the gold that has always been there. You are the alchemist, and your life is the great work. If you feel ready to take the next steps toward your inner transformation, my ebook Alchemy and Archetypes, Exploring Inner Transformation Through Jungian Psychology, can be a valuable guide. In it, you'll find practices and reflections inspired by Jungian psychology. The link is in the first comment. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with others who are also seeking transformation.